Cincinnati Reds and the Atlanta Braves. And hi again, everybody. Alongside Chris Welsh, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Reds Baseball. Chris, does it get any better than this? Sellout crowds tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday.
Well, here we are in the concourse, Tom. I tell you, we've had sellout crowds this year before, but it seems like for all the wrong reasons. A bobblehead night, maybe some fireworks, a giveaway of one kind or another. Tonight, a sellout for all the right reasons.
And the right reasons being this is a matchup of division leaders, Chris, for the first time since 1995. The Reds are in first, hosting another team in first at the end of July.
That's why the excitement. You've got standing room only tickets maybe available for tonight. I don't know about that. The question is, how are both the ball clubs going to react to this? Are they going to play like it's a playoff atmosphere game, or is it going to be just another game? But you know what? No matter what the managers say, no matter what the coaches try to tell them to say, they're going to look up in the stands. They're going to feel the excitement, the energy, the electricity of this ball game, and they're going to play like this is a playoff-type ball game. This is the way it ought to be this time of year here, right here in Cincinnati.
So they're ready to roll out here on the concourse. They're jam-packed inside the ballpark. And when we come back, we'll talk about the man who gets the ball for the Reds in Game 1 of this series, Johnny Cueto. You're watching Reds Baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. Sports Ohio, and every night is presented in beautiful high definition courtesy of our friends at H.H. Gray. Well, we're back at Great American Ballpark on just a glorious weather night. What about the rest of the evening? Let's check in with Michelle Boutelet.
Forecast for the game tonight looks really nice. We do have some clouds moving in around 80 degrees by first pitch. By the middle of the game around 78, and by the end 76. So really comfortable, low humidity, and no rain in the forecast.
All right, Michelle, good news and real good news starting it for the Reds tonight. The hottest pitcher in their rotation, Johnny Cueto.
Is he an emerging ace? You have to ask yourself that question. He sure made it look awfully easy his last time out against the Houston Astros. 8 innings of shutout, 4-hit baseball, was really never threatened at all. And Johnny Cueto just making it look easier and easier every time out. You see the record he has this year, 10-2. He's one game away from his career high in wins. So if he wins tonight, he'll get 11. That will tie it. But his last 7 starts, wow. How about a 0.9 earned run average? Lean on Johnny. He'll take you a long way.
So Johnny hoping to be real good tonight. Matchup of division leaders right around the corner. Is this Bobby Cox's last trip as manager into Cincinnati? State Farm is there. By Ford F-Series trucks, the best-selling trucks 33 straight years. By Just for Men, for mustache and beard, keep your edge. And by Skyline Chili, whenever you're feeling good and hungry, it's Skyline time. Almost game time at sold-out Great American Ballpark. The Reds have taken the field, and Bobby Cox, 69 years young, his 30th season as a Major League manager, has already announced that he will retire at season's end. So perhaps his final visit to Great American Ballpark, unless he returns in October. Let's take a look at his starting lineup. Presented by Cincinnati Bell. All-Star Martin Prado at second. Jason Hayward, an All-Star in right. Chipper Jones at third. Brian McCann, the All-Star Game MVP, the cleanup hitter. Troy Gloss at first. Eric Kinski in left. A latter third of Omar Infante. Melky Cabrera in center. Chris Medlin on the mound. And starting it for the Reds, looking for win number 11, is Johnny Cueto.
Well, he's making it awfully look easy, Johnny Cueto is, and you have to ask yourself, is he an emerging ace, even at his young age? He certainly pitches like he has been, especially his last few starts out there. His changeup is good. His slider is even getting better. And right now, Johnny Cueto is keeping it simple. Really 3 pitches right there, an occasional cutter. But for the most part, he sticks with the good old-fashioned hardball, changeup, and slider.
Martin Prado digging in. First pitch fastball, a strike one, and this game is underway. An all-star for the first time, Martin Prado. Leads the National League in hits, multi-hit games, third in batting at .318, and Cueto quickly ahead of him at 0-2. Fastball runs inside on Prado, a .316 batter, 13 home runs, 42 batted in, has 29 doubles already this year.
Great idea by Cueto. 0-2, make him move his feet.
Came in there again, doubling up on the fastball, and it's dribbled foul. Of course, tonight is a trade deadline, and if there is any action, we'll let you know as soon as possible, particularly if there's any action with either one of these two clubs. 1-2 delivery, and this is a way to even account. Atlanta 15 games over 500. The second best record in the National League, second only to San Diego. And their lead over Philadelphia is down to 2.5 games. It was over 7 games a little more than a week ago. And Prado hanging around and remembers 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, mechanically, so far, a good sign. If you're watching Johnny Cueto and you're judging how he looks on the mound from a mechanical standpoint, early in the game, yes, but one of the things that he always gets out of whack, or used to anyway, was he get really fast with his delivery. Nice and slow, laying back on his back leg right now.
Well, a real good at bat here for Prado as well. He has run the count full after falling behind 0-2. So now the 8th pitch in his first at bat of the game is in the air and playable for Jay Bruce in short right field. So a lengthy battle capped off by a Cueto win. Let's take a look at the Reds defensively, presented by Ford. Gomes, Stubbs, Bruce, left, center, and right. Roland and Votto on the corner infield spots. Cabrera and Phillips up the middle, and Hernandez behind the plate in the opener of this 3-game series. So now we get a look at the rookie Jason Hayward. At 271, 11 home runs, 48 runs batted in. Ranked by Baseball America as the #1 minor league player among all organizations in baseball entering this year. He's had a very, very good rookie year. Halted for a trip to the disabled list. He's still playing with a bruised left thumb, but is starting to swing the bat better again. 1-2. Hayward third among all rookies in home runs with 11, second in RBIs with 48. And a 1-2 pitch. Fouled away. And you throw in walks, where he ranks #1 among all rookies. Well, where in the world did that miss? Bob Davidson, the home plate umpire tonight.
And Johnny Cueto would like to know exactly the answer to that one. He thought this had a little comeback action on it and touched maybe the inside corner. Like the fact already, though, Cueto pitching at both sides of the plate. The first 2 batters he's faced.
2-2 pitch. So back-to-back batters, Cueto got ahead 0-2, and on back-to-back batters, the count goes to 3-2.
He's got a good eye, and this really goes for everybody on this entire Atlanta Braves team. They lead the National League in walks.
Shot down the left field line into the corner. This will be extra bases, a 1-out double for Hayward. A very impressive player with a very impressive first at bat tonight.
He just kind of sticks his bat out there, figuring Johnny Cueto's coming with a fastball and Trish trying to protect. And he gets it down the left field line. Hayward does. He's got plenty of speed, especially first to third speed, second to home speed. Only 20 years old.
So now Chipper Jones, the first overall selection in the June draft, going back to 1990 out of Jacksonville, Florida. A 251 batter, 7 home runs, 41 batted in. And that's a straightaway center field. And in the bright sunshine, Stubbs comes in to get it. Hayward will not dare test the arm of Stubbs and go to third. 2 away in the inning.
Now the sun is in the eyes of the left fielder here, the center fielder here. You say Drew Stubbs, you see him blocking the sun out with his glove just to make sure he gets a beat on it. Now, not only is the sun in the eyes of those 2 fielders, but it's also in the eyes of the hitter this time of night. on a clear night, and we've got kind of a little bit of an overcast clouds, but enough of that sun coming through right here to give the hitters a glare that they're seeing the ball coming out of the pitcher's hand. Picked up a little bit of a glare off the center field batter's eye.
So now Brian McCann. Fastball, strike one. This year, McCann played in his 5th straight All-Star game. In fact, he was the most valuable player in it. He had that 3-run double that proved to be the game winner for the National League. 0-1 pitch.
Got it on a fastball. This kid can turn on one. And he's played in 5 All-Star games, and he's only 26 years old. It seems like this guy's been around for about a decade. What an impact player he has been ever since he stepped on the scene, really. Full playing time in 2006.
1-1 to McCann. And a fastball just ate him up. Ran in on him to get ahead 1-2. Cueto trying to strand Hayward out at second base. 2 are out. Got him swinging, and that's out. 1 hit, 1 left. The Reds come to bat against Chris Medlin when we return. Matty Bell's starting lineup has Brandon Phillips at second, Orlando Cabrera at short, and Joey Votto at first base. Scott Rowland a cleanup hitter. Johnny Gomes in left, Jay Bruce in right. A ladder third of Drew Stubbs, Ramon Hernandez, and Johnny Cueto. The Reds get their first look ever at 24-year-old right-hander Chris Medlin having a rock-solid year in this Atlanta Braves rotation after beginning the year in their bullpen.
Oh, and you scout him, you say he's too short maybe to be a big leaguer. He's not short on stuff, I can tell you that. 92 plus on his fastball. As you said, Tom, a converted reliever, but he also, like Johnny Cueto, keeps it very simple. Fastball, changeup, curveball, and probably in that order. Probably throws a few more changeups than he does curveballs, and he's a guy that will strike out a lot of batters. 76 punch-outs in 98 innings for Medlin. Young man that has been very versatile for Bobby Cox. In and out of the bullpen. And he has not pitched in the small confines of this ballpark before. So this is something to get used to.
So the Reds coming to bat. Brandon Phillips at 289, 14 home runs, 39 runs batted in at the grand slam, his last swing of the bat 2 days ago in Milwaukee. In their strike. Phillips, like his counterpart tonight, Martin Prado, a first-time All-Star this year. Phillips leads the National League in runs scored. He is second to Prado in the National League in base hits, 121 of those. field, but caught shy of the wall by Eric Hinsky. One away. Let's take a look at the rest of the Atlanta Braves on defense, presented by Ford. Cabrera next to Hinsky in center. They just sent down Nate McLeod to the minor leagues. And Hayward in right. Chipper Jones, Troy Gloss on the corners. Infante in for Alex Gonzalez, a former Red, is under the weather, suffering from the flu right now. Prado at second, Medlin and McCann to batter. Now Orlando Cabrera. High tapper down to Chipper. 4 pitches, 2 outs. Medlin began the year with a major league club in their bullpen. When Jair Jurgens went down with an injury, Medlin moved into the rotation. When Jurgens came back, Medlin stayed in. Kawakami was sent to the bullpen. And with an ERA at 3.5, you can understand why Medlin's in there. Strike one to Joey Votto. Joey has that batting average all the way up to .322, 26 home runs, 70 runs batted in. Votto now the National League leader in batting, along with the home runs. He's third in RBIs, 11 behind the league leader, Ryan Howard, with 81 of the Phillies. Field, Hinsky with room, and the inning is over. 1, 2, 3 go the Reds. End of 1, no score. Serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. National League ranks for Joey Votto. There you have it. First in average, first in homers, third in RBIs. The last Red to lead the team in all 3 of those categories. Go back to '89, Eric Davis. But 0 for 1 tonight on a fly ball to the track in left field is Votto. So here we go in the second in a scoreless game. Troy Gloss, Eric Hinsky, and Omar Infante against Johnny Cueto. Allowed a 1-out double to Jason Hayward in the first, but retired Chipper Jones and Brian McCann to end the inning. Strike one to Troy Gloss. The last time we saw Troy Gloss, you couldn't get him out. He had a horrid month of April, and many were wondering if the Braves were just going to let him go. He wound up being the National League's Player of the Month in May, and that's when the Braves took off. He was okay in June. The Braves were okay in June. But here in July, Gloss struggling like he did in the month of April. 206 has not homered the entire month, and tomorrow's the final day of it. Slow chopper to Cabrera. He has time. One away. If you didn't know anything about the Atlanta Braves, their pitching, their great bullpen, if you just looked at their lineup tonight and you looked at the numbers of the players inside of their lineup, you might be a little hard-pressed to believe it's a team that's 15 games over 500. It's not to take a shot at them. It's that you look in the Reds lineup. Yeah, one guy was 70 batted in, another guy was 60. Johnny Gomes, 65. That ball driven into right center field off the bat of Eric Hinsky. And he'll cruise into second base with a one-out double. The Braves only have one player on the team who's knocked in more than 50 runs. And no one with 15 home runs. Yet here they are.
Well, they've got a very good bullpen, Tom. They also have a very good starting rotation. Although the Reds are going to miss maybe their top two most experienced pitchers in Tim Hudson and Derek Lowe. But still in all, they win the tight ball games. They're very much like the Reds have been early on, where they got a lot of come from behind wins. Of course, they beat the Reds in 2 late inning come from behind wins. But it's a bullpen that's been their trademark all year long.
Omar Infante getting the start for Alex Gonzalez, who came over from Toronto in a deal for their young, very talented shortstop, Yunel Escobar. But Escobar has been a very streaky player, as most youngsters are, and Gonzalez having the best year of his major league career. But he's sick right now. Two and 0. Runner at second, one out. And that slider called low, I guess. 3 balls and no strikes.
Boy, you saw Bob Davidson flinch a little bit on that pitch, almost like he wanted to call it. His eyes said one thing, his brain said something else. A little bit of a frame action by Ramon Hernandez. Maybe he saw that glove movement by the catcher and decided it was outside.
Infante getting regular playing time on this road trip and has swung the bat extremely well. This one is playable. In foul ground, Votto for out number 2 in the inning. Right now at Papa John's, get any large pizza for just $10. Try one of their large signature specialty pizzas, or just create your own with all the toppings you want for just $10. Call or click papajohns.com. So runner at second, 2 away, and here's Melky Cabrera, who figures to get a lot of playing time in center field now that Nate McLeod has been sent down. And Dusty Baker not wanting to even take the chance of a number 8 hitter knocking in a run, is going to intentionally walk Cabrera.
Not a bad idea here at all. You've got 2 choices if you're the manager. One is if you pitch to the number 8 guy and you get him out, then you have the advantage of having the pitcher lead off the next inning. But in a game where you're really not sure whether it's going to be a high-scoring game, a 1-0 ball game, you don't want to take a chance like that early on, and that's the way Dusty Baker feels about this. Takes the bat out of the left-handed hitting or the switch hitting Melky Cabrera, and it'll bring up the switch hitting pitcher.
Medlin 4 of 24 as a batter. He has a double, has knocked in a couple of runs.
Yeah, he's listed as a switch hitter. Looks like he's going to go up there right-handed.
See the 13 strikeouts in the 24 at bat so far for Medlin. 2 on, 2 out. First pitch swinging at a fastball and fouled out of play, strike 1. Told you at the very beginning of the ball game, this is the first time the Reds have hosted a series as a first-place team against an opponent who is also a first-place team at the end of July since September of 1995, when guess who? The same two teams that met that year in the National League Championship Series. The Braves came to town in September, 16 ahead. The Reds had a 13-game lead in the Central. And you know what happened in that LCS? Atlanta 4, the Reds 9. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night for Medlin. The Braves strand 2, no score. Signs in left center or right center during our game tonight. Donna Large of Sunman, Indiana, will win the beautiful new Tundra on display every day here at Great American Ballpark, and you can register for your chance to win it at an upcoming game by visiting your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Sellout crowd on hand at Great American Ballpark on just an absolutely beautiful weather night. Temperatures expected to slip down into the mid-60s tonight. Highs right in the mid-80s. Next to zero humidity. And the Reds coming to bat in a scoreless game. Scott Rolen to lead it off. Rolen, as you know, returned in Milwaukee. Had a hitless game his first game back. Had a 4-hit game and knocked in 3 in the 12-4 win in game 2, and then had the third game off. And the Reds scored 10 without him. Scotty to be followed by Johnny Gomes and then Jay Bruce here in the bottom of the second inning. Three and one. Medlin retired the side in order in the first inning. Tonight making his 13th start of the year.
You got to figure it's going to be a bullpen game for the Braves one way or another, because Medlin has pitched as many as 7 1/3 innings in a ball game, but for the most part he's about a 6-inning pitcher.
And he walks Rolen to begin the inning.
I think the key for the Reds is to try to get that pitch count up.
Well, he Check out Hall of Fame baseball writer Hal McCoy's article about the 2010 being the year of the pitcher. Plus, you can chat with him right now at FoxSportsOhio.com. Presented by 1-800-SAFE-AUTO and SafeAuto.com. You know, the other thing is, Chris, with that in mind, is as good as this bullpen is for Atlanta, especially if they have a lead, once you get about the 7th inning, I would think it's imperative to get ahead of these guys early in any game.
Well, you know, they do what a lot of teams are able to do, and the Reds do for that matter. I mean, in most of their games anyways, they shorten that ball game. Playing at home, that's your advantage. What I mean by shorten the time is exactly what you said. Get the lead, try to keep it, because once you get to innings 8 and 9, they can shut you down. I mean, that's the goal of every general manager, is to give your manager a chance to have a short ball game. Give me the lead, turn it over the last 2 or 3 guys in the bullpen, busting 45.
Johnny Gomes taking back-to-back fastballs right down the middle of the plate.
You know, I don't know what's got into him, because when he was over in Milwaukee, I don't think he saw a pitch, or even in Houston for that matter on this last road trip. I don't think he saw a fastball that he didn't like enough to take a hack at. He made a lot of early outs, and maybe he came back, looked at some tape, evaluated the way he was going at the moment, and decided to be a little more patient.
Three straight fastballs taken by Gomes. That's the first out of the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Meadow looks like a guy that likes to pitch a little bit upstairs. Doesn't really sink his fastball a whole lot, but he'll try to get you to chase that pitch just above the strike zone. The kind is very tough to get on top of. Here he's going to bounce one.
Gomes gone swinging. First strikeout of the night for Medley.
Good arm action on a changeup. We had heard he had a very good changeup and also a very good curveball. I have not seen too many curveballs, but that's a changeup, no doubt about it. You can almost see the circle change grip in his hand. He pronates his right hand as he turns it over and kind of finishes with his pinky finger on top, creating the impression of the hitter that here comes a heater.
Now Jay Bruce, 263 batter, 10 home runs, and 40 runs batted in. Strike 1. See Jay looking for his first hit against Atlanta pitching this year. The Reds lost back-to-back games, a 2-game series in Atlanta, the only meeting between these clubs this year. You may remember the game 1. Atlanta had a 4-0 lead, and the Reds tied that game in the top of the 9th inning, including that dramatic pinch hit home run by Chris Heisey against Billy Wagner. But then Atlanta won it on a Hayward double in the bottom of the 9th, and you know what happened the next game. Reds had a 6-run lead going into the bottom of the 9th inning, and Atlanta scored 7 to win the game. One of the most shocking losses we have ever seen. Brooks Conrad came off the bench and hit that game-winning grand slam. That was one of those games, Chris. The Reds had really gotten on a nice roll and were playing their best baseball of the season, and you wondered at the time, would that send them into some kind of a tailspin after you lose that kind of a game? Well, nothing could have been further from the truth.
You know, they say ultimately a loss is a loss, but those type of losses can be so demoralizing. And unless you're professional enough to turn around, shake it off, and just move on, it can hang with you. Fortunately, the Reds did not have that problem.
2-2 to count on Bruce. Runner at first, 1 out. And Bruce gone on strikes, 2 away in the inning. In fact, after they lost that game, they got on a plane and they flew to Cleveland to start interleague play. They won the next 2 nights, lost going for the sweep. They came back home, beat Pittsburgh 3 out of 4. Beat Houston 2 out of 3. So they won the next 3 series after that crushing loss. Drew Stubbs at 235. You know, the amazing thing about Stubbs is you hear Hayward on and on and on and on about Rookie of the Year. Drew Stubbs has more home runs and more RBIs than Jason Hayward. 2 more home runs and 1 more run batted in. And, of course, Stubbs almost exclusively has either hit leadoff, and then really ever since the end of April, when Dusty really shook up the lineup, he's been batting down in that 7 hole. From time to time, 8th. 1 ball and 1 strike. To Stubbs, and it's shot off foul out of play the other way. Some of the Rookie of the Year conversation, and here's some of the guys. But Chipper Jones had glowing reviews about Gabby Sanchez of the Florida Marlins. Mike Davis, 15 home runs, 52 batted in. And Tyler Coleman, of course, has only been a regular for about the last 3 weeks. That ball launched down the left field line and bending foul. Stubbs, of course, barely went over the limit last year with all the playing time Chris he had, which put him in the rookie class of last season, even though he really only played every day for about the final 2 months of the year. But it was enough to disqualify him from being a rookie this year. A leadoff walk, and then Medlin fans Gomes, Bruce, and Stubbs consecutively to retire the side. Still no score. With the trading deadline being tonight. Would you be stunned, Chris, if the Reds make a deal?
Well, I don't really know if I'd be stunned or not, Tom, but you know how Walt Jocketty operates. I mean, all of a sudden, with no worrying at all, what he has done in the past is, boom, make a trade. I'm not exactly sure that, because there's not a glaring weakness on this ball club. This has been a very good team. They've all gotten along. And one of the things that a general manager has to consider is team chemistry. What happens if you bring a guy in and he's not liked? You know, he's only going to be a rental player. Sometimes it upsets things more than what you gain. So it's not an easy decision to make, but I think the Reds are pretty sound and they're in first place without anybody else. Now, if they really needed a fifth starter, or if they really had a gaping hole in the bullpen, or if they had one position that was, you know, a vacancy because of an injury, then it would make a lot of sense. But I'm not so sure that Walt really sees the pressing need right now.
course, in Atlanta, they're wondering if their general manager, Frank Wren, will do anything to try and quote-unquote answer the move made by Philadelphia yesterday and trading with Houston for Roy Oswalt. Oswalt now joining a Philadelphia starting rotation that includes Roy Halladay and Cole Hamels. And that is one small strike zone early on tonight for Bob Davidson.
Memo to hitters, don't even worry about taking the bat off your shoulders right now.
Prado flied out to Jay Bruce in short right field leading off the game. It was an 8-pitch at bat. And this one banged into left field. A leadoff single by Prado. Fourth base runner of the night for Atlanta against Johnny Cueto, their third hit.
Well, right after the hit, a glance in by Johnny Cueto and Bob Davidson saying, you know what, you're making me throw the ball right down the middle of the plate right here because you're not giving me the corners. Had a little bit of a slider that kind of hung inner third right there, and Prado, an all-star and a good hitter. 26-year-old right-handed hitter hitting over 310 for him, and he's on base for the first time.
Now Hayward, who doubled down the left field line in the first inning, tried to shoot it that way again, and he's down strike one.
You know, I'm not sure what the scouting report is on this young man, Tom, but I can tell you one thing. He's a big, tall guy. And the taller you are, the more susceptible you are normally to pitches on the inner part of the plate. And with Johnny Cueto's fastball, I like to see them test him inside a few times. Not to say that Jason Hayward can't get around on the heater.
One ball and one strike. Hold, and off the leg of Votto, he's able to snatch it and then dive to the bag to beat Hayward there. So a good recovery by Joe. Prado advances on to second base, one away in the inning.
Well, the ball comes down you awfully quick right there. That was a kick save by the Canadian. Actually, one of the few Canadians that never played hockey. Got his left foot on it, was able to knock it down and able to get at least one out. Now, Chipper Jones was fishing for fastball his last time up, got one, flew out to center field, but at this point in his career, he's guessing right along with the hitter or the pitchers.
One and one to Chipper Jones.
Wonder what Chipper Jones thinks about Bobby Cox retiring. After all, Bobby Cox is the only manager that Chipper Jones has ever had.
They've won a lot of games, that duo together. Pulled into right field, a base hit. They're going to wave around the runner. Here comes a throw to the plate by Bruce. Slide, and he's safe. He got by the tag of Hernandez. And Chipper Jones makes it a 1-0 Atlanta lead here in the third. He goes to second on the throw home.
Well, I wasn't sure that Martin Prado had the kind of speed that he does, but he really accelerated coming around third base. It looked like that throw would beat him to the plate, but he makes a wide attempt to get to the plate, gets his hand in there clearly. A great slide. And he's got some pretty good speed coming around the bag of third base to get the Braves their first run.
May have ripped the buttons right off his jersey going in there and skimmed up the arm as well. But a 1-0 Atlanta advantage, and now Brian McCann.
amazing thing about that slide, he didn't slide until the very last second there. I mean, he was bolting by the bag or the home plate as he was able to slide his hand on it. And we see it in extra slow motion when we showed you one of the replays, but when you see it in real time, you realize how fast Prado is and how aggressive he was in trying to get to the plate and slam his hand on it.
McCann struck out, ending the Atlanta first inning. And there's a strike on the outside corner. And now the count even. Chipper Jones' 42nd run batted in. What an unbelievable career he has had. The only switch hitter in Major League history to hit 300 or more home runs while accumulating a batting average of 300 or better. Look at those numbers. Almost 1,500 RBIs. It's a pretty good first pick.
You know, the whole thing almost got derailed.
Yep.
Because when he blew his knee out in his rookie season.
Spring training.
It was in spring training. It was such a significant injury. They weren't sure that would he ever come back and be the kind of player that they had projected him to be.
And you almost wonder if that injury, which forced him to move from shortstop to third base, wasn't almost a blessing in disguise. Shortstops get beat up through the years, man.
They do. But how many more infield hits would he have had running on two healthy legs?
3-2 on McCann. Struck him out. Pulled the string on him. I'd like to tell you about the Chasing Reds October ticket plan. You can reserve seats for every game the final 2 months of the year of this 2010 regular season for no additional cost when you secure a 2011 full season ticket plan in select sections of the park. So in other words, 25 Reds games free this year. For details, as there's a bouncer down to third, should be the end of the inning, and it is. Call 513-765-7500 or go to reds.com/tickets. Jones knocks in the first run of the night for Atlanta. Division. Cardinals, of course, lost 2 out of 3 to the New York Mets. They're returning home tonight, and with their loss yesterday, the Reds a half game in front. And the Cardinals back on the home front, taking on the Pirates later tonight. For the next 30 days, the schedule, and again, we've talked about it many, many times, Chris. You got to go out and beat the teams, even if they're under 500 that you're playing. For the next 3.5 weeks, the Cardinals have the schedule in their favor. It completely does a reversal for the final month of the year. So, they're writing in St. Louis, at least in the newspapers, that if they're going to not only catch the Reds, but open up a little bit of daylight, right now would be the time to try and seize upon that chance.
You would think so. The only thing I think that has the Cardinals have an advantage schedule-wise, we're only talking about the schedules, is that the fact the Reds have yet to go to the West Coast. They've got all the games to play yet in that Pacific time zone, and they have, over the years, not played all that great out there.
Of course, this year was during interleague play they went out there, and boy, it couldn't have started any worse. They got swept in Seattle, but then he turned right around and swept the Oakland Athletics. But that's interleague play. Quickly 0-2 to Ramon Hernandez. Midland walked the first batter, Scott Rowland, in the second inning, and then struck out Gomes, Bruce, and Stubbs. Ramon to be followed by Johnny Cueto and then Brandon Phillips here in the Reds' third inning. Atlanta with a 1-0 lead. Cueto will throw out Hernandez. I'd like to send out our thoughts and prayers and best wishes to Ron and Judy Hoffman. Ron been struggling a little bit with some health concerns, and he, along with his wife, they watch every single game. And Ron and Judy, we pray for strength and good health very, very soon. Thanks so much, as always, for making us a part of your day. Strike one to Johnny Cueto. We were talking about the trade deadline and the big news yesterday about Roy Oswalt being traded to the Philadelphia Phillies. And I saw where he was scheduled to start that game tonight for the Phillies. They open a series in Washington. And looking out at the big board, and we'll double check and see if Oswalt did indeed start that game. And Nationals have a 3-0 lead. And yes, Oswalt is on the mound. He's allowed 3 runs and 4 hits in the first 3 innings of that game. And Fonte throws out Johnny Cueto, and the first 2 retired here in the Reds' third inning. Boy, Medlin making it look easy. See the numbers with Oswalt. Of course, his final start as an Astro, a loss. And the Reds got him for 6 runs in 5 innings. J.A. Happ had the great rookie year last year, has had arm trouble this year, and 2 other minor league players go in that trade.
He hasn't looked like the same pitcher to me the last couple of years. I know he had great peripheral numbers. His secondary numbers still very good this year. But something just, his fastball used to be a little harder, used to be a little tougher to center up. And maybe just we saw him on 2 nights the last couple of times he's pitched against the Reds where he has not had his great game. But compared to what he used to be against the Reds, he's a little more hittable than he was. Of course, back in those days, he was completely unhittable.
First hit of the night for the Reds, a 2-out single by Brandon Phillips in the center field.
Hey, there's a sold-out house here tonight, and one thing the Reds could really do to get a little momentum going is to get this crowd on the edge of their seats a little bit, get them into the ball game, and I think that takes some offense to do. The Reds finally get a base hit. They've reached 1 base runner and roll and walk, but right now, very quiet, kind of quiet crowd, sitting back, kind of waiting for something to happen.
Here's Orlando Cabrera. He bounced out to Jones. His only time up. Pretty good move right there by Medlin.
Very quick move.
Well, there is a lot happening in the big city here tonight. Sellout crowd here at Great American Ballpark next door at Paul Brown Stadium. The annual Jazz Festival kicks off in full force tonight along the banks of the Ohio River, going a little bit north and a little bit east. The band Kiss is in town tonight out of Riverbend. That'd be a big league show. You ever seen them before, Chris?
I've never seen them in concert. Did you bring your makeup with you?
No, but I have seen them, man. What a show. What a show. They can get after it. I don't care how old they are.
You can't tell, can you?
Well, those guys you can't. When Jagger and Richard and the boys show up, there's a little wear and tear. Especially on the guitars. There's a lot of wear and tear. Oh, 2 to Cabrera. Granted, 12 stolen bases. He's been thrown out 8 times, but ever since he tweaked that hamstring injury very early in the year, has not been running with nearly the frequency that he did through the first month and a half of the year. Pretty good lead over there, dancing around and drawing the attention of Medlin. And that's a ball.
They're going to argue that from the Braves dugout, saying that Medlin put his foot back off the rubber first. And now we get the third base umpire is going to come in and talk a little bit about that. I think he's going to call everybody in and say, hey, wait a minute, I saw a little differently than you guys did. That's Tim Timmons, who came in from third immediately. I think the balk was called by the second base umpire, Alfonso Marquez. And what a pitcher has to do here is step off with his right foot first. If he steps off first before he makes the turn, he becomes an infielder and can do whatever he wants. Did he step off is the question. Let's take a look. Nope, he did not step completely off the rubber. He stepped back, but his foot was still in contact with the rubber. That makes him a pitcher, and that is a balk.
Well, Bobby Cox does not like the call. Of course, Bobby, the all-time leader among all major league managers in the history of the game. 153 times he's been thrown out of a ball game.
I mean, he's put a lot of distance between anybody who's thinking about coming close. Nobody on that list is an active manager. Is that a record that will ever be broken?
The guy better have good teams. Right? Runner at second, 2 away. It's a tying run. And Cabrera lifts a fly ball to short left center field. This ball is going to fall in a hit. The outfield's so deep. And Cabrera just lofts one in there to tie the game at 1. Boy, how important is that balk now?
A lot of people say, hey, why does Brandon Phillips dance off the bag like that? But if you can get one pitcher to balk in a certain situation in a tight ball game, it's all worth it. Looks like a little 60-degree sand wedge right in no man's land. Cabrera got a bad jump on that ball and really kind of slowed down as he came towards it. He wasn't willing to leave his feet one bit. And Cabrera comes up with a run batted in, a big one.
And, of course, now you get your big hitter, Joey Votto, coming up with a man aboard. Go ahead, run it first. 2 outs in the inning. Strike 1 on a breaking ball. Votto flied out to the track in left field his first time up. Votto's 70 runs batted in this year have come with 2 men out in an inning. Tack on Moore. This ball driven into right center field. This will bring in the go-ahead run. Cabrera being waved around. He'll score on a double by Votto. 2-1 Redlegs.
So he's trying to hold Cabrera close, but maybe Cabrera took his mind off of it a little bit. It was a fastball that Votto hit the left field his last time up, and it was a fastball there that he lines in the right center field gap. It's a little two-out lightning for the Reds here.
'71st run batted in for Votto, and now it's Rolen who walked his first time up. You said it, Chris. You needed a little offense to get this crowd in the game. Three straight two-out hits generating 2 runs.
A little buzz going on right now.
One and 0 to Rolen. 2-0. Well, the Reds get it done with an RBI this year. It's another $25 from Shapley for the Reds Community Fund. Shapley, it's done. Getting done in the third by Cabrera and Votto to give the Reds a 1-run lead. Now 3-0 to Rolen. Borderline strike there. 3-1. Rolen looking for something to hammer right now and make it a 3-1 game. Comes up empty on a fastball up in the zone. They're running full. Hit into right field. It'll whip around Votto, and how about the Redlegs? 4 straight hits, and now it's a 3-1 lead.
Now the young 24-year-old Chris Medlin, not quite the same out of the stretch position, at least in this inning, as he was out of the full windup the first couple of frames in his ball game. Scott Rolen protecting against a fastball or against a breaking ball, kind of lays back on that ball and just slaps it the other way, right over the glove of Troy Glaus. And Joey Votto comes in from second.
Well, the Reds have been so clutch the entire year. More runs batted in with 2 men out this year than any other team in the league. And 3 in a row here in this third inning. Now Johnny Gomes has struck out his first time up. Fly ball right center, and this will do it. But not before the Reds strike for 3 runs on 4 hits, all with 2 out and nobody on. And a 2-run lead at the end of 3. Kentucky Toyota dealers, where you can register to win the Tundra at Great American Ballpark. By JTM, food, family, fun. JTM. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by GMC, we are professional grade. Welcome back to Cincinnati at the end of 3. The Reds with a 3-1 lead over the Braves in the opening game of this 3-game series. Division leaders locking up in this weekend set.
Well, a couple of guys that were traded for each other. There you see Scott Rowland on your right, Troy Glaus to your left. When Rowland had problems in St. Louis with Tony La Russa, they made the swap. At that time, Glaus was playing in Toronto. That's where Scott Rowland ended up for a couple of years before he found his way back here to Cincinnati, a trade engineered by the same general manager that made the deal to send him to Toronto in the first place.
Barakinski doubled his first time up. This time a two-hopper to Votto, one away. And, of course, it looked like a great deal for the St. Louis Cardinals when Glaus had that great 2007 or 2008 year for the Cardinals. He knocked in 99 runs. He had 27 home runs. But then last year could only play in a total of 14 games due to injury.
And it was a shoulder injury, and that's why you're seeing him. Well, obviously you're seeing him at third or first base with the Braves because you got Chipper Jones over at third base. No one takes injuries into consideration when they really judge trades down the line. Sometimes they say, hey, well, look where this half of the trade really paid off. Well, you forget the other guy actually got hurt. Some things you just can't avoid.
Base hit center field by Infante. So a hit in every inning so far tonight for the Braves against Johnny Cueto. Time for our AT&T trivia question tonight. Who did the Braves trade to Cleveland in 1983 for Len Barker? That was a trade that the Braves believed would push them into the playoffs. And they brought in Barker, of course, who had thrown a no-hitter, as you may remember, for the Cleveland Indians. Give them a lot to think about that. Foul ball by Melky Cabrera. Player, by the way, wound up being a two-time All-Star with the Cleveland Indians. Two and one account on Melky Cabrera. He was intentionally walked. Ahead of the pitcher, his only time up. This ball in the air to short left center, and Stubbs will come in to get it for the second out of the inning, and another one coming up. And by the way, for those of you that might be wrestling with a trivia question, when that deal was made, it was Len Barker for the playing we're asking for, plus two players to be named later. And one of those two players to be named later, he not only had a good career, he had a great career. But we're thinking about the guy whose name actually was in the transaction when the trade was made, named in that deal. They've been writing about that trade recently in the Atlanta papers as to maybe why you don't go get somebody unless it's a sure bet. How about that? On an 0-2 pitch, the pitcher bangs one into center field for a base hit.
Now, the Reds have a pair of pretty good hitting pitchers. In fact, they've got more than just a pair of them. Just goes to show you anybody with a bat can be dangerous. 0-2 trying to make a little bit of contact, and Chris Medlin does that. Now, you wouldn't be talking about Rick Bahena, would you?
No.
I believe he may have been in that trade.
Might have been one of those two players to be named. Matter of fact, I know he was. But he ain't the guy we're looking for. Or the other guy we're talking about. I'm sure he's a good guy. Right?
I can't comment one way or the other.
Yeah, but
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
He didn't have the career the other two guys had. 2 on, 2 out, 2-run lead.
Would one guy be in this ballpark tonight?
He would be.
Would he be in uniform tonight?
He would be. That's all the hints.
That was 1983, so he's probably not an active player.
Real good chance of that. Breaking ball low and in.
This is about 20 questions. This is the AT&T trivia question, not 20 questions. I'm done.
Well, that's a lot of hints. Well, now Cueto's got to get down to business here. He's been hurt by the bottom part of this order. Number 7 hitter with a 1-out single. The pitcher with a 2-out single. And now you face a guy who's been the best hitter in this lineup for the entire year for the Atlanta Braves in Prado.
Well, that's an amazing bit of plate discipline right there. 2-0, couple of runners on base. He takes a fastball right down Broadway.
He'll swing at the next fastball and foul it out of play.
Not nearly as good a pitch to hit as the previous.
All right, Chris. For Johnny Cueto right now, this guy has had 2 extended at-bats against you. He's seen about everything you can throw up there. What are you throwing here, 2-2?
He flew out on a fastball, a 3-2 count. He had a 2-2 count. He got a base hit on a slider. But that slider was middle in. I'd go slider down and away and see if you can get him to chase.
And that's what he's throwing. And he's going to take care of him to end the inning. Well, you know a little something about that stuff.
I'm going to call pitches next year for my 15-under team.
Or 2 shed. City of Hamilton night here at Great American Ballpark tonight. And of course, such unbelievable work done by the Joe Nuxall Children's Education Fund. There you see Ken Nuxall to the far right, his wife Bonnie. And today, the birthday of the old left-handed. Born in Hamilton, Ohio, July the 30th, 1928. Would have been 82 years young today. Of course, 40 years in the Reds radio booth, and Lord knows we miss him every day.
Yes, we do.
Jay Bruce to lead it off, and it's ball one outside. Reds 3, Atlanta 1. As the Reds bat in the bottom of the fourth inning, they got all 3 runs on all 4 hits after 2 are out in the bottom of the third. Jay to be followed by Drew Stubbs and Ramon Hernandez. Medlin struck out Bruce and Stubbs consecutively, part of 3 in a row in the second inning. And there's that changeup.
Well, he really sells that as a fastball, and the thing that he's been able to do is to establish his fastball. I mean, he's not a guy that is overpowering. He throws 90 to 92 miles an hour, but he's not afraid to pitch to any part of the strike zone, coming right inside the left-handers, inside and outside the right-handers.
Bruce gone looking on a fastball. All right, now let's take a look at the answer to our AT&T trivia question tonight. Who did the Braves trade to Cleveland in 1983 in the Len Barker deal? The named player is now the Reds hitting coach, Brooke Jacoby, who had an outstanding career playing for the Cleveland Indians. Played from '84 as an everyday player through the 1991 season with the Indians. Hit as many as 32 home runs, couple of years, 80 or more runs batted in, and then finished his career after leaving for a short time in '91 with Oakland. Came back to Cleveland, played the 1992 year, and then hung it up. Now, the guy that was in that deal as a player to be named later, you named one. The other one, Brett Butler.
Good player there.
Oh.
He ended up coming back around to the Braves eventually, didn't he?
He did. Fly ball short right field. Hayward will get to it. 2 gone in the inning. Butler's still biding his time at last check, trying to get a crack at a major league manager's job, managing in the minor leagues for a number of years. You've probably been on one of those cruisers out there along the Ohio Avenue.
Yeah, I have not. There is one out there, though. I've been on one very similar to that. I think they call them a John boat. Has a trolling motor on it. Got to watch for the wake as the big ones go by.
Indeed. Well, you know what? You're on the river. Beautiful night. You're doing a little fishing off that baby, right?
Oh, yeah.
So still sounds good.
And, of course, a lot of people congregate on the river on a night like this because fireworks after the ball game. No better place to see them.
That's where our director
Look at the size of that
makes his
fishing
home
rod.
over in the Commonwealth, Roy Halfers.
He could probably flip it all the way across the river if he wanted to.
Yeah. Roy goes down there all the time.
Well, Roy goes down after the game, searches through that guy's cooler, see if he's found any fish, and makes him a good deal. Roy loves that fried fish.
1-2 to count on Hernandez. That's fouled away. Well, there are a lot of days. Roy gets here early, puts in some time, and if he's got like an hour break, you'll see him along the banks of the Ohio.
I'll have to check Roy for a license one of these days.
Somebody might be looking it up right now. 1-2 on Ramon Hernandez with 2 down and nobody on. Hernandez with 2 outs and nobody on, making Medlin work a little bit. A late afternoon game between these two teams tomorrow. First pitch at 4:10. Bronson Arroyo on the mound for the Reds against Jair Jurgens, healthy again, pitching for Atlanta. 3-2 now to Hernandez, and we'll wrap it up Sunday afternoon. Christian, you and I'll be back here. Edinson Volquez and Tommy Hanson. There's a matchup tomorrow.
And that game is on Fox National. Tom, you'll be bringing that ball game. That'll be right as the trading deadline ends at 4 o'clock tomorrow.
Yep.
And from the looks of it, and there's a lot of activity going on right now, it seems. There will be a lot of trades made between now and then.
And a 2-out single in the center field by Hernandez. What a great at bat that was. Well, let's check in with Jim Day for a little more on what might be happening leading up to the deadline.
Well, speaking of that deadline, it appears the rich may be getting richer. There are multiple reports tonight that the Yankees have a deal in place to acquire Houston first baseman Lance Berkman. And the Fox affiliate in Houston is reporting that Berkman had to waive his no-trade clause to do it. They're reporting he has. No official word from the Yankees or Houston, but again, multiple reports saying that he is going to the Yankees.
Wow. Of course, they have Mark Teixeira as their regular first baseman, but Berkman, I'm sure, could still play some outfield for you if you needed him to. Swung on and fouled out of play, obviously in DH.
And he's only going to get better and stronger as he gets further away from that knee surgery that he had in spring training. I think that's one major reason why his power numbers are off so much this year. You know, that at bat by Ramon Hernandez, you said it was a great one. It is a super at bat, because what it does, other than just making the pitcher work more, is you bring the pitcher to the plate in this inning. That is the Reds pitcher. So now you don't have Johnny Cueto leading off the bottom of the 5th inning. Instead, you go, if he makes it out here, you go right to your leadoff guy.
That ball lined hard right at Hensky, and that'll end the inning. They hit a man left. We go to the 5th. Reds 3, Atlanta 1. Now, this home run the other day that landed up where the slide is, up in left center field. We asked Brandon after the game, said, hey, look, it doesn't have to be the longest home run you ever hit. We're standing there waiting for the bags after landing from Milwaukee here at the ballpark, and he said, I don't know. He said, ask my man Billy Hatcher if he thinks that one was longer or a home run, Chris. I wasn't there. That he hit at Dodger Stadium off the top of the batter's eye and straight away center field. Billy thinks the one in L.A. might have been longer. Do you remember that home run?
I do not remember that particular home run, no. Well, I'll go with Billy Hatcher's estimate on that.
Well, he thought maybe. He wasn't sure.
Does it really matter how far you hit it? Doesn't it matter how many guys are on base?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a no-brainer for me.
No question.
At the end of the year, they don't ask you how far, they ask you how many.
Amen. All right, it's a big inning here for Johnny Cueto. He has given up at least one hit in every inning. He's allowed 2 hits in each of the last 2 innings. The Braves have left 6 men on base. 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third when they scored their only run, and stranded 2 in the fourth inning. Here's a high bounce. Votto will get there. Throw a strike. Nice catch here by Cueto. That actually was a ball up and away, and Cueto was able to gather it in on the run.
Well, the idea of the first baseman is to make sure you feed a nice one to your chest, but get it to the pitcher as soon as you can so he doesn't have to negotiate catching the ball and tapping the bag at the same time. Votto's usually pretty good at that, but Johnny Cueto shows a little athleticism, reaching for a bad one. You know, it's almost like an infield. When you're covering a first base bag like that, it's almost like an infielder. You try to anticipate a bad hop or a bad throw instead of one right where it should be. If you're always thinking about a bad one coming your way, you've got a lot better chance of catching that bad throw or a bad hop.
Chipper Jones knocked in the only Atlanta run with a 1-out single to right, plating Prado in the 3rd inning.
Chipper Jones now 38 years old. Last year he batted .264. This year he's at .250, .251. Well below his career average, which is right around .300. I mean, if you're a Braves fan, are you thinking, all right, eventually Chipper's going to get back to his career batting average number, so we can anticipate a good second half out of Chipper from that standpoint? Or are you thinking Chipper's just kind of fading away here as he gets up in years?
Sinking liner to left field. He's looked good tonight. Second hit of the game for Jones. And Reds fans, we invite you to make your Friday night better by going to foxsportsohio.com and entering the Win the Papa's in Your House contest. You can win a Fox Sports Ohio prize pack, and one grand prize winner will win a pizza party. The Papa's in Your House contest presented by Papa John's. Johnny Cueto so far tonight has had his way with Brian McCann. He struck him out twice, but this time it's driven into deep left center field, and this ball is gone, and we are tied at 3. That's why we said that so far he's had his way, because Brian McCann is one mighty fine hitter.
Oh, you don't give the benefit of an opposite field home run in Atlanta all that much anymore. Not with Turner Field playing much bigger than the old field at Fulton County Stadium. Johnny Cueto just trying to go away with a fastball to start, and McCann is all over it. Not all that bad of a pitch based on what looked like Ramon Hernandez wanted and where he wanted it. Sometimes you tip your hat to the hitter, and a lot of Braves fans here in this ballpark tonight, we're doing a lot of tipping.
So we start anew here in the 5th inning on a 2-run home run by Brian McCann. Only his 14th home run of the season. Roy Gloss is grounded to short and bounced out to third. 2-2. Reds have given up 8 hits so far in the game tonight to Atlanta. That is a very high number for this Braves team, especially on the road. They have not been a good road club at all, and it goes to show you really how bad teams all over baseball are playing on the road these days when you consider that the Braves are 6 games under 500. And they're really not a bad road team as far as winning percentage is concerned. The Reds, conversely, are one of only 3 teams in the National League that have a winning record on the road. On the ground to Cabrera, and 2 are out in the inning. The only other 2 teams that have a winning road record in the National League, one of them leads the Western Division and the other one leads the National League wild card. San Diego and San Francisco. Now Eric Hensky, strike 1. Boy, Colorado, the wheels have fallen off that team. They just ended an extended losing streak. The Dodgers have now lost 2 in a row, 7 back. San Diego just keeps on rolling, Chris. They've won 60 of their first 100 games.
Really amazing. I mean, at this point, everybody in baseball has to figure that they are for real. They play so well in their own ballpark, have such great pitching, especially their relief pitching, that Bud Black got an extension of his contract, the manager out there, making believers out of those Padre fans.
Of course, they swung a deal yesterday to pick up Miguel Tejada. There's a roller down to Votto, which will end the inning, but not before McCann ties the game after a Jones single with a 2-run home run. We're even at 3. State 2005. Then Tampa Bay rookie outfielder Johnny Gomes became the first player in D-Race history to hit 3 home runs in a game. He did it against Kansas City. By the way, the only other Tampa Bay player to ever hit 3 home runs in a game, their outstanding third baseman Evan Longoria, who did so in September of 2008, also like Gomes as a rookie. And if you're wondering, the last Reds rookie to hit 3 home runs in a game, Joey Votto, May 7, 2008, against the Cubs right here in Cincinnati. Top of the order, 3-3 game, bottom of the 5th inning. Brandon Phillips started the 3-run rally with 2 outs in the 3rd with a single to center field and scored the first run. 2-0. Here's hard, but right at the shortstop, Infante. And a big out from Medlin, retiring Phillips to begin the 5th.
Hey, Reds fans, for great food with family and friends this summer, think JTM. Food, family, fun, JTM.
Strike 1 to Orlando Cabrera. After Phillips had a 2-out single in the 1st inning, he was walked to second base. And Cabrera lofted a base hit into shallow left center field to knock him in, and at the time tie the game at 1. And Cabrera scored all the way from first on the double by Votto. He scored on a single by Rowland. This one will be cut off behind the bag. Nice play there by Infante for the 2nd out of the inning. Well, enjoy Reds baseball and save with a special 4 for $40 ticket offer during the weekend of August 13th, 14th, and 15th. You buy 4 view-level tickets to any of the Reds Marlins games for just $40, and you receive a voucher for a free large La Rosa's pizza. Doesn't get much better than that. It's a $70 value, in fact, for just barely over half that number. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com/4440. Three game with 2 outs and nobody on. It's a ball and a strike to Joey Votto. Votto coming off a monster road trip. 14 of 26. 3 home runs and 6 runs batted in. And he starts a homestand off with 2 of his first 3, including an RBI.
Well, if you're Chris Medlin, he's got to be thinking, what do I have to pitch up there to get Joey Votto out? He's been all over my fastball. He throws a 2-1 curveball right here. Votto waits back so patiently and just rips a little bit of a humpback line drive into right field.
Well, these are the players going into play tonight that lead their teams in all 3 Triple Crown categories. Miguel Cabrera just having an unbelievable year in Detroit. I'll tell you what, man, between Cabrera and Josh Hamilton, now you talk about a race for the most valuable player award. Now we have a long way to go. And just saying, though, if there's a jam shot fly ball to left, it'll end the inning. And that's that. A hit a man left. 9-5, a 3-3 affair.
We move on to the 6th inning. Jim Day out here in right field, and this is one of the themes of the weekend. Standing room only tickets are being sold here at Great American Ballpark, and this is one of the areas. Check out all the people, standing room only. These people bought tickets just to stand and watch the game. That's how popular the Reds are right now. Time now for our Meyer textbook question of the night. And Major League Baseball kicking around, perhaps not starting next season on the traditional Monday. The way the calendar sets up in April to avoid the World Series being pushed back into November, they might have to start the season on a Friday. So think of opening day in Cincinnati on a Friday and not a Monday. We'd like to know, what do you prefer? 1, keep it on a Monday. 2, move it to Friday, April 1st. 37664 is where you text your votes to. Standard text message rates apply while the results coming up. This will be a little controversial in Cincinnati because, quite frankly, we're used to opening the season on a Monday.
Well, that it has been, and there's a ground ball deep in a hole and under the glove of Cabrera. So the bottom of the order now, which has really hurt Cueto. That is the 4th time either the 7, the 8, or the 9-hole hitter has reached base safely.
Not kind of a seeing eye base hit right here. When you give up on a ball that's a ground ball and just happens to find a hole, 1, 2, 3 hops, it goes many more than that before it finally gets through the infield. I don't think that obviously Cabrera makes that play even if he gets to it. So he hit it in the right spot.
Well, both teams have a little bit of action in their bullpen for the first time all night. You have a number 8 hitter now in Cabrera. Throwing in the Reds pen is Bill Bray. Johnny Cueto is just 5 pitches away from 100 in the game. Coming off a game in which he threw 8 innings and a career-high 122 pitches.
You know, early in the year, he was averaging close to 17 pitches per inning. The last 2 starts, he's been much more efficient. But the Braves are a very patient team. You talked about their low batting averages, Tom. Their on-base percentages are up because they take a lot of walks and they make you throw strikes. We saw their leadoff hitter, Martin Prado, take a 2-0 fastball right down Broadway with 2 runners on base. That's how patient they can be.
Our last look at the Meyer Reds text poll question. Not nearly as controversial as a lot of us may have thought. This could be real trouble. Yep. Jam shot pop up into right. And that is a double by Melky Cabrera. And now the Braves really have it working. 2nd and 3rd and nobody out.
couple of very unlucky plays against the Reds in this inning. One, that ground ball base hit. This one, a jam shot. I mean, right in on his thumbs. You don't make a whole lot better pitch right here. And normally when you make a good pitch like this, you get good results, but not always. Melky Cabrera gets a bat through, keeps it fair somehow, and the ball goes in there for a double. Bring the infield in to pitch to the pitcher.
Up and into Medlin, who struck out his first time up. Single to center field his last time up. Boy, you thought Cueto with 7, 8, and 9 coming up might have his first hitless inning, or at least an easier inning. And just some bad luck. But it's bad luck nonetheless, kind of like what you were talking about with Brandon Phillips' home run. They don't ask you how far you hit him. All they want to know is how many.
Well, the key right here for Johnny Cueto in this inning is this guy right at the plate. You really need a strikeout out of the opposing pitcher, or at least a ball hit in the infield, popped up, or a ground ball at somebody. Do not let this opposing pitcher, drive a run in here.
Hit it. Well, clearly that's not what Cueto had in mind. And Cueto making sure that Medlin knows he didn't mean to do it.
Yeah, the ball just got away from him, obviously. Look at the run on that ball, and it got him on the right wrist, right below the hand right there. That's his throwing arm. He's got, like, I'm not going to know until he gets back out there to throw a little bit whether he's going to be able to control the pitches. You get hit in the wrist like that in that spot, you lose your feeling in your fingers. At least temporarily. That may get some activity down in the Braves bullpen.
Medlin going to stay in there. Brian Price, meanwhile, comes out to visit with Johnny Cueto. You got to wonder if this will be the final batter Cueto faces.
Well, you got left-hander Jason Hayward up next, and then you got Chipper Jones, a switch hitter, which most of the time managers like to turn him around to the right side.
So they're loaded with nobody out in a 3-3 game. Prado's 1 for 3. He's popped to right, singled, scored, and fly to center. Fastball is up and in, ball 1. 10 hits allowed by Cueto. He's walked a batter intentionally. He's hit a batter. Cueto twice shakes off his catcher Hernandez, and Prado wants timeout. Cueto back off the mound, slaps himself on the right thigh, climbs back on the rubber. After falling behind the dangerous Prado, 2-0. Ground ball, weakly hit. They'll get the out at second, and they can't turn the double play. That ball was hit so slowly, there was no way they were going to turn it. The run scores from third, making it 4-3. And they're on the corners with 1 out. And here comes Dusty Baker, and that's it for Johnny Cueto.
Well, you want a guy to hit a ball hard, preferably right back at you, the pitcher. That way you come home with it. But that ball goes to Brandon Phillips. They're playing back for 2, and they only get 1.
For the first time in quite a while that Johnny Cueto has given up some crooked numbers. 10 hits and 5 in the third innings. So far, 4 runs all earned, and of course the 2 on base his responsibility. Our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen brings on left-hander Bill Bray to face left-handed batting Jason Hayward. We'll be right back. Johnny Cueto leaves trailing 4-3 and leaves with 2 on and 1 out here in the Atlanta 6th inning. And now he'll need help from Bill Bray, who comes on to face Jason Hayward. Runners at first and third and 1 out. Hayward a .243 batter against left-handed pitching. Now Bill Bray's done a nice job against left-handers since coming off the disabled list. They're only batting .167 against him. The bad news is, of the 3 hits he's allowed to left-handed hitters, 2 of them have left the ballpark. Melky Cabrera, the runner at third. Prado, the RBI fielder's choice at first. And it's 1-1 on Hayward.
Good looking slider right there from Billy Bray. And that'll be the pitch of choice probably in this at bat to retire Haywood. Not meaning that he won't go only with only the slider, but that's his disappearing pitch to most left-handers. Start at middle and it ends up down and away close to the dirt. Doing it again.
Same result.
Notice a little decoy right there, right before the pitch. Ramon Hernandez kind of stomps his foot to the right, just behind Jason Hayward. Then he slips over there on the outside part of the plate, trying to give Hayward the idea that the Reds are going to pitch him inside.
There it was again. Boy, executed perfectly by Bray. That is just outstanding work. 2 gone in the inning.
I'll do it again. There's the little decoy by Ramon Hernandez making some noise. Here comes an inside pitch or not. And that's just a disappearing slider. Hayward has no chance on that. A little more difficult now as you turn around Chipper Jones. Always been a little weaker from the right side. Batting average this year much different. Down around 234 right-handed. But still, in RBI situations, you never take Chipper Jones lightly.
Two and 0. Bray needing 1 more out to keep it a 1-run deficit. Here in the 6th inning, they're on the corners. And he beat him with a fastball there. 2-1 to Chipper Jones. Peter Moylan continuing to throw in the Atlanta bullpen. You got to wonder if Medlin is still feeling the effects of getting drilled a moment ago right below the right wrist, right forearm area on that fastball by Johnny Cueto. 3-1 meanwhile to Chipper Jones. So you got to be careful here. Three balls and a strike. Misses in to load him up. And now Bray will face the left-handed batting Brian McCann. McCann, a .241 batter against left-handed pitching. But 2 for 6 in his career against Bill Bray. McCann tied the game his last at bat an inning ago with a 2-run home run to left center field. Reds had a 3-1 lead at a time. Atlanta's taken a 4-3 lead, chasing Cueto here in the 6th inning. Strike one.
McCann's got power the other way. He showed Johnny Cueto that with an opposite field job coming off a fastball in the outer part of the plate. Gray went slider, missed inside with a fastball. McCann's looking for slider right here. And Bray throws it, but it's in the dirt.
What a nice play by Hernandez to keep it right there in front of him.
Need a strike here. Just a case of simply overthrowing it.
Two and one to Brian McCann, but the bases loaded. Another breaking ball got him on a swing and a miss to even a count.
I'll tell you what, you see him swinging this ball not even near the bat. I mean, you talk about really throwing some good sliders tonight. He needs to dig into that well and pick one more.
And he found it. Reached into that well. What a job by Bray. What a job. Runners on the corners and one out. Does not allow another one to score, but Atlanta's taken a 4-3 advantage. Now it's time for the Coors Light Freeze Can. Joey Votto, a kick and a save, a kick and a beauty. And then beating Jason Hayward to the bag. And this is the Coors Light Freeze Can, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Bill Bray putting out the fire. Impressively so in the sixth inning. Got a couple of good left-handed hitters out in Hayward and then McCann.
Well, the one thing about Bobby Cox, he's never been one of those managers that is prescribed to the theory where you have to go lefty, righty, lefty, righty. He just puts his lineup up there as he sees fit based on who can get the most runs in. And in that particular case, it worked out in the Reds' benefit because he had a left-handed hitter in Hayward, a switch hitter in Chipper Jones, who's weaker from the right side, and then Brian McCann. So it fed right into the perfect spot to bring Bill Bray in. Worked out for the Reds, but they still hold a one-run lead.
And now the Braves go to their bullpen. They bring in Peter Moylan. This is part of an outstanding Atlanta pen the entire year. Second in the major leagues is Moylan with his 54 appearances, behind only Pedro Feliciano of the Mets. Strike one to Johnny Gomes. In fact, you go back to the start of last year, and And his 141 appearances are the second most among all major league relievers. This guy is durable and he gets people out. Reds are hoping to knock him around a little bit tonight. But he's ahead of Gomes at 0-2. Gomes, Bruce, and Stubbs here in the Cincinnati 6th inning. Good eye there by Johnny. A breaking ball off the corner. 2-2.
Boy, what a little teaser pitch that is. Took something off the breaking ball. Drops down sidearm, does Moreland. And you can see that he's a lot tougher on right-handers than left-handers because he comes from that low three-quarter angle. Actually from down around Laredo. Or maybe for him, just down under. Considering the fact he's from Lesmurdy, Australia. Or is it Australia?
There you go. Three and two to count on Gomes. Two-hopper back to the mound is out number one. Gomes 0 for 3.
Well, he pitches out of the stretch, whether there's anybody on base or not, stays together, but really drops down. Some guys throw sidearm by bending at the waist, and if you straighten them up, they're really thrown over him. And Moreland does that to some extent, but he really drops his arm angle down completely. So when he throws that breaking ball, it looks like it's coming right at your shoulder, and it ends up about a foot outside. Now, as a left-handed hitter, you think all those breaking balls are coming right in your wheelhouse. But his fastball's got a nice little tail going away.
Straight away center field, playable out there for Cabrera, and just like that, 8 pitches and 2 men out for Moreland here in the 6th inning. We invite you to be at the ballpark Saturday, August 14th. The Reds and the Marlins, the first 20,000 fans at the game that night will take home a Reds Garden Gnome thanks to Chiquita. Get tickets now for that Marlins weekend series. Calling 513-381-REDS or log on to Reds.com. Well, the Reds offense has been extremely quiet tonight. Outside of putting together 4 straight hits, producing 3 runs. There are only 3 runs in a game in the 3rd inning. They only have 2 other hits on the night, and both came 2-out singles. One and one on Drew Stubbs. Mike Dunn, a left-hander, cranks it up down in the Atlanta bullpen. Fastball away, 2-1 to Stubbs, who has 13 home runs. Number 14 would tie this baby up right here and right now. Looking for Moreland to hang one of those breaking balls, and Drew hammer it. Instead of fastball away from him, 3-1. For Stubbs, he can hit one of those fastballs. You leave that out over the plate, he can hit it into right center. This guy's got unbelievable power.
Now the timing for Stubbs just off a little bit right now, and you know Dusty Baker says this. I mean, everybody who has noticed it before. You get a young player, you go through streaks of being very hot, seeing the ball big, and then you go through streaks where it's almost impossible to get your timing down.
Just ought to do it. 1, 2, 3 for Moreland. Throw in the dirt, but in time. We go to the 7th, 4-3 Atlanta. By AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network, AT&T. By your Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky Honda dealers. Visit mycincinnatihondadealer.com. By Wendy's, you know when it's real. And by Hollywood Casino, get the red carpet treatment at Hollywood Casino, Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Looking at downtown Cincinnati on a glorious weather night. Sellout crowd at Great American Ballpark. First of 3 between division leaders Atlanta in the East, the Reds in the Central. And the Reds had a 3-1 lead, but Atlanta scores 2 on the Brian McCann home run in the 5th and take the lead after loading the bases with nobody out with a run in the 6th. And now Logan Ondrusek comes on from the Reds bullpen.
Yeah, sporting a brand new record. 2 wins and no losses. Picked both of those wins up on this recent road trip. One in Houston, and then in his next appearance in Milwaukee, nailed down a win then.
He's on to face Troy Gloss, Eric Hinske, and Omar Infante. Gloss 0 for 3, 2 ground balls to the shortstop, and a bouncer to third sandwiched in between. The Cardinals, by the way, are in a rain delay. They have never gotten started. Tonight against the Pirates, a game scheduled for Busch Stadium. Ondrusek got away with one right there.
You know, Ondrusek's a big guy, 6 feet 8 inches tall, and when sometimes you let that ball loose, he's a little closer to home plate than a lot of pitchers are, just because he strides longer and gets out over his foot.
Back to Ondrusek, 1 away.
Pretty good sequence of pitches right there. Fastball up and in that Troy Gloss had a hard time getting the barrel to, and then good slider down and away. Really tough to adjust to that big of a difference in location and speed.
Now Hinske 1 for 3, doubled his first time up to right center, is twice bounced out to Votto since. Earlier today, Fox Sports Ohio attended the Columbus After School All-Stars 2010 Summer Games. That event held on the campus of The Ohio State University at Jesse Owens Memorial Stadium. Had over 1,500 kids ages 7 to 17 participate in a full day of sports enrichment and brain game clinics and competitions. And Fox Sports Ohio Senior Vice President and General Manager Henry Ford pleased to announce a partnership with Columbus After School All-Stars and presented the organization with a $50,000 check. For more information about this organization, please visit their website, asacolumbus.org. Well done.
Good work.
Indeed. Sure the kids had a great time out there. Sure hope they did. Another roller down to Votto. And there are quickly 2 gone in the 7th inning.
You know what we're seeing out of Logan Ondrusek is a little better fastball. It seems like not every time out, but much better now in his second run through here with the Reds than it was early on. You know, you come up out of the minor leagues, you're not sure if your stuff is real good or good enough to get big league hitters out, and you hold back a little bit. He was throwing the ball down around 90, 91, and we kept hearing from scouts that had seen him throw in the minor leagues, and this guy's got a lot more than that. And that's a cutter right there at 91, 92 miles an hour. And he's thrown his fastball as hard as 96 tonight.
And Ondrusek talked about that. He said that's exactly what happened with him last year. Remember, this guy went 3 organizations in 1 year last year, 3 levels of the minor leagues. And a lot of it had to do with what Chris is just talking about. As the season went on, I mean, he kept throwing harder and harder and harder at every level. What a find he has been since coming back up. It's an ERA he's sporting under 0.7 since being brought back up. We're not talking about 4, 8, 10, 12, 15 games. You're knocking on the door, what, 23, 24 outings. And he issues a 2-out walk to Infante.
And he's really come out of nowhere. I mean, meaning that in spring training, when you listen to all the legitimate candidates to make the Major League Ball Club out of spring training, you know, Ondrusek was one of these guys that really wasn't even, you know, certainly wasn't on the depth chart in the primary position, or not even probably the plan B. But he pitched very well in spring training. Looked like he had good stage presence. They plucked him, and he pitched his Major League debut on opening day.
Phillips will get to the bouncing ball and feed it to Cabrera for the force out. And that'll end the innings. We'll see if Hernandez can get it started in the bottom of the 7th. Reds trail 4-3.
Jason Hayward and the National League East leading Braves battle Joey Votto and your Reds in a possible playoff preview. Fox Saturday Baseball, presented by Taco Bell, returns this week at 4 p.m.
Couple of changes made for Atlanta defensively. They'll bring on Matt Diaz to take over in left field, and a new pitcher is Takashi Saito. Saito, a one-time closer for the Dodgers, has come back from injury, and although he is not the closer on this team, that job belongs to Billy Wagner. He has been very good along with his counterpart late in the game from the left side, Johnny Venters. And we'll more than likely see Venters play a prominent role in this game. He had his 4-game suspension lifted today by Major League Baseball. So you can rest assured we will see him against some of the big left-handed bats in the Reds lineup, primarily Joey Votto. Ramon Hernandez, 1 for 2, is grounded to second, single to center. Lance Nick stands in the on-deck circle, and then it'll be Brandon Phillips. Moylan works a perfect inning behind Medlin. These have been the 2 best come-from-behind teams in the entire National League so far this year.
Well, it's awfully tough to do that against the Braves. One reason why they are good come from behind, because their bullpen just clamps down the opposition. I mean, to have a guy like Saito, who closed out and saved 81 ball games in 3 seasons for the Los Angeles Dodgers, as your 7th inning guy, your bullpen is very good.
That's what we talked about. The 2 best come-from-behind teams in the National League so far this year, locking up in this 3-game weekend series. And of course, one of those 29 come-from-behind wins by the Braves came against the Reds, when they scored those 7 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning to cap off a 2-game series sweep. The Reds came back to tie the game in the 9th inning, trailing 4-0 in game 1 of that series, and then the Braves won it in the bottom of the 9th.
It's like some body language of a little frustration on the part of Ramon Hernandez right there. He fouled that ball off. They looked back to the home plate umpire Bob Davis and said, was that a strike? I think he's seen a few missed calls from sitting behind home plate tonight.
Two and 2 the count on Hernandez. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Hernandez had a similar type of at bat back in the 4th inning and capped it off with that single in the center field against starter Chris Medlin. And he's battling right now against Saito. Nix with bat 4 on Drusik in the on-deck circle, and hoping to have Hernandez aboard in front of him. 8th pitch in this at-bat coming to Hernandez. Hard hit ball, but the shortstop Infante is there, 1 out. Well, Kroger and the Reds are proud to team up to offer you a great value this season. Check concession stands throughout the ballpark for the Kroger meal deal. It's a great deal. It includes a full-size adult hot dog. You get a 16-ounce Coke. And during this homestand, Sargento string cheese, it's all for just $7. The Kroger meal deal. now Lance Nix. On Drusick, 1 inning, 1 walk. Nix won the bat very well on a just completed road trip. He only had 6 at bats, but he had 4 hits, 3 of them doubles, and knocked in a couple of runs. Boy, he hit the ball hard.
He did. It's really hard to stay in the groove, too, when you don't get that regular playing time. But he's always been a very good fastball hitter. Look for Saito to try to keep that breaking ball on him, take a little power away from Nix.
And there is that breaking ball in the outside corner.
And a good job by Nix not to jump all over it. I mean, if you don't get the pitch you want early in the count, you can be a little patient.
Try that same pitch and miss the outside corner. 2-1.
Well, one thing you can't miss when we've got our view from behind center field into home plate. Look at the way that Brian McCann sets up. Gets so small back there, very quiet for the pitcher. They don't hang the signs like normal, like most catchers. He's got the flash signs at different parts of his body. But he gives such a good sign back there and just a kind of a good target. And gives the umpire plenty of room with which to see that strike zone. You know, one of the advantages to having those flash signs, meaning he's going to touch around his shoulder pads or his chest protector and his shin guards and so on. Everybody in the infield who wants to move a little bit on the pitch based on fastball or breaking ball knows what's coming.
Still 2-2.
When you give the signs with your fingers, usually it's only the shortstop that can peer in there and see what the sign is. He's got to turn around in time and again flash another sign to the second baseman or maybe the third baseman to let him know whether it's a fastball or breaking ball.
Hanging in there. Why wouldn't more teams go with that, Chris?
I don't know. Sometimes it can be confusing. Sometimes, you know, when a pitcher wants to shake a pitch off, it's a lot easier just to go back to the hand signs with the number of fingers. 1 fastball, 2 curve, 3 slider, and so on. But you can see how deliberate McCann has been.
There's a base hit into right field. Man, Nix is really squaring up just about everything he sees right now.
And that was a changeup, not a fastball. Saito really did not want to give him a fastball in the zone right here. Not in a 1-run ball game, or maybe a breaking ball of some type, but it was off speed, and Lance hit it right on the screws.
Well, now the tying run aboard here in the last of the 7th inning. Reds down 4-3. And Brandon Phillips coming up. Venters is ready in their bullpen, and he is getting ready for one guy and one guy only. And that's if we see Joey Votto in this 7th inning. Reds, of course, would love to take their chances in this inning and have Votto come up. Breaking ball is low and away to Brandon Phillips. Ball 1. Brandon, a long look down to third base coach Mark Berry. Lance Nix stares in that direction as well. Almost looked like Brandon was trying to get out of the way of that fastball up and in.
Now that's how much that ball from Saito runs. This guy, you know, as we've seen him over the years pitching for the Dodgers and then last year for the Boston Red Sox, got such movement on his fastball. Kind of a loosey-goosey delivery. Hard to pick the ball up.
1-2 now to Brandon Phillips. Brandon 14 home runs, 39 runs batted in. Among the National League leaders in hits, he is a National League leader in runs scored. Has scored another run in the game tonight. 1-2. Foul away.
Well, the Braves are playing Brandon Phillips almost as a left-handed pull hitter. They've got the center fielder Cabrera pulled all the way around up here. He's kind of in the gap. They're trying to close this gap off. And we got a lot of space in left center field, but even more down the left field line. But they're going to pitch Brandon away, either with a fastball or the breaking ball. They're going to make him hit the ball the other way.
Still a ball and 2 strikes. Knicks at first, a tying run. And they continue to pound that fastball, as you said, Chris, away, and Brandon able to foul him off.
Yeah, the old saying, pitch him away and play him away. You know, the Braves have been a team over the years, especially during the tenure of Bobby Cox, where they've been so precise in the way that they play their outfielders, Tom. Sometimes you look up and you'll see an outfielder playing right on the opposite field line. Not too dramatic right here, but they should give Brandon a pretty good idea which way they're going to pitch him by looking at the center fielder.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
And of course, they probably saw on tape that long home run, that grand slam home run that Brandon Phillips popped into the slide of Bernie the Brewer. Said, what's not going to happen here in Cincinnati? If he's going to hit a bomb off of us, it's going Oppage.
2-2 on Brandon Phillips. Saito delivers. Ground ball left side. Jones can't find the handle and finally does in time to get Nix at second base. So with 2 away, Phillips at first and Cabrera will bat. Saito's certainly not one you wouldn't figure to get rattled in a tight game. His closer's days, as Chris mentioned, with the Dodgers. He pitched 14 years in the Japanese Central League. He's been around for a long time pitching professional baseball. Cabrera has seen Saito 4 times. He has 1 hit. And the 1 hit, a home run. Well, this will be the final batter either way for Takashi Saito. They have the hard-throwing rookie Johnny Venters ready in the Atlanta bullpen for that man. Two and 0. Pitch coming to Orlando Cabrera. Swung on and missed, 2-1.
Boy, Saito just continues to paint that outside corner. he's got great control, but I mean, he is just all over that black, whether it's his breaking ball or his fastball. Hard to do a whole lot with that pitch, even when you're looking for it.
2 balls and a strike. And that time threw a fastball a little more to the heart of the plate, barely fouled off by Cabrera. Now the count even at 2-2. Reds had battled Saito in this inning. Hernandez a lengthy at bat, wound up grounding out to short. Nix an extended at bat before the single to right. Phillips wasted a lot of pitches fouling off before the ground ball. And now a 2-2 count on Cabrera. But the Reds are still down a run with 1 on and 2 out here in the 7th. The count still on Orlando Cabrera. Well, both of these teams have played so many close games. It's staggering the number of games each of these clubs has played during the course of the year. Not just one-run games, but those decided by 2 or less. 2-2 on Cabrera again. And again fouled out of play.
Well, there have been some good games within the game tonight. You talk individual at-bats against individual pitchers. Extended at-bats. We're looking at one right here.
Phillips takes his lead at first, and a 2-2 again to Cabrera. Is low ball 3. So now Phillips gets started on the payoff pitch.
And the good news about that is that with his speed and he gets a good jump on this ball, they'll hold him tight until the ball is thrown to the plate. They're going to try to keep him as close as possible in case a long single or a double will keep him from scoring. But if you get a ball over the outfielder's head, Phillips will come around and tie this game up.
Three balls, 2 strikes. And he'll send Phillips back to the bag. Clearly, Saito does not have any move that would fool anybody. So even though they're going to hold the runner on, Phillips should still get a huge lead over there at first. Popped up. And the inning is over. Saito allows a hit. The Reds strand the tying run. We go to the 8th. Atlanta still in front, 4-3. done. And of course, we were talking after that half inning finished about how impressive Bill Gray was here tonight.
Well, Bill Gray was very impressive. He came in a very tight part of the ball game, got the last 2 outs in the 6th inning, had his slider working. Boy, that at bat he had against Jason Hayward. I'm not sure if anybody can throw a better slider than what he threw against that left-handed rookie. And now it'll be up to Nick Massett, 4th pitcher of the night for the Reds, coming on for the 53rd game this year.
Well, Massett has brought that ERA. It continues to come down, down, and further down with each passing outing. Boy, it's taken a while. Doesn't take long to get it up there, Chris. Early in the year, it takes a lot longer to get it back down to where you like it.
When you're a reliever and you usually put in 1 inning per game, you can have 1 or 2 bad games in April. It may take you to August to get that baby under control. And that's why the earned run average is probably the worst indicator of, a success or failure as a relief pitcher. There are so many other things that people look at nowadays. First batter efficiency, how many runners you leave on base, your strikeout ratio, of course. You want power numbers at some point.
Fly ball by Diaz, his first at bat of the night. 1 away. The Reds will have Votto, Roland, Gomes due up in the bottom of the 8th. They're down a run. Massett, the 4th pitcher for the Reds tonight. Cueto gave up all 4 runs on 10 hits in 5 1/3 innings. And the trio of Bray, Andrusic, and Massett have gone exactly 2 innings. Not allowed a hit and only 2 base runners. Reds gave Johnny Cueto a 3-1 lead tonight at the end of 4. But then Cueto in the 5th inning allowed a single to Chipper Jones with 1 out. A game-tying home run by Brian McCann in the 5th. He allowed a roller that snuck through into left field by Infante to lead off the 6th inning. Then a jam shot pop-up basically down the right field line that went for a double by Melky Cabrera. And that wound up leading to the go-ahead run. Well, that was abuse at bat right there. I mean, you're talking about one of the best hitters in the league that on 3 pitches I'm not sure has looked worse all year long.
Well, it looked so bad on the 2nd pitch, he even smiled to himself and looked back at the umpire and smiled. Maybe it was Hernandez. And then waved at this breaking ball down the dirt.
Well, that's going to be all it appears for Massett. They're going to bring on Arthur Rhodes to face the left-handed batting Jason Hayward. So great work by Massett. Retired the only 2 batters he faced. Subscribe to MLB.tv today. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. 2 outs, nobody on. Sellout crowd at Great American Ballpark between the National League's Eastern Division leading Atlanta Braves and the National League Central Division leading Cincinnati Reds. And Atlanta 1 run better. A 4-3 score as Arthur Rhodes comes on to face Jason Hayward.
Now, this matchup happened one other time this year down in Atlanta, and it resulted in a strikeout. Veteran versus rookie. You don't get them much more pronounced in this one.
No, you don't. One ball, one strike on Hayward. And a fastball on the outside corner, a strike.
First fastball he's seen in the last couple of at-bats. He went against Bill Bray and went 0-2 and just got nothing but sliders in the entire at-bat. Finally striking out on another slider. Not sure if he's getting another heater or not.
Shot into left field. Boy, what an impressive piece of hitting that is right there. Throw in his second. And easily in with a double on a 1-2 pitch as Hayward.
He did get another fastball, and that's what he did with it. The same thing he did when he got a fastball from Johnny Cueto on a full count in the first inning. Sliced it down the left field line. I don't mean just slice it like blooping it. This guy just waits on it and really puts something to it. Good looking hitter.
Jones tonight is 2 for 3. Has scored a run, knocked in a run. He's been on 3 straight times. Found out to play first base side. The only at bat tonight from the right side of the plate for Jones. He drew the walk from Bray in the 6th inning. And 2. Fastball up and away. We're talking about Rhodes and Hayward. When Hayward was born in August of 1989, Arthur Rhodes was only a year and a half away from pitching in the big leagues. He's pitching in single A ball. 1-2 pitch. Oh, he had one to hit right there, and he fouled it back. Oftentimes you'll see a switch hitter in his career where from one side of the plate the numbers will be so much better. Most of the time there are guys that have better numbers from the left side because they hit with far more frequency from the left side. Now those are the numbers this year, but in Jones's career he has a higher batting average as a right-handed hitter. His swing clearly is not as picturesque as it is from the left side.
And the interesting thing about that, Tom, is that he was originally a right-handed hitter coming up. Dad made him into a switch hitter. In fact, he got so frustrated as a switch hitter down in the minor leagues in his first year as a pro that he told his coach he wasn't going to do it anymore. And when the Braves finally found out about it, about a week later, they sent somebody down from Atlanta. They fired the manager and told Chipper, get back in the batter's box on the left side. We want you to continue to switch hit.
And really, it's pretty interesting without knowing the number of at-bats, but, you know, you be the judge. You saw the career home run totals, left-handed and right-handed. I got to believe that right-handed frequency in terms of home runs per number of at-bats has got to be pretty doggone good. 2-2 to count on Chipper Jones. Down to third. Roland will make the firm throw to end the inning. All right. 3, 4, and 5 coming up. Votto, Roland, Gomes. The Reds count a run.
Game, Fox Sports Ohio breaks down the game and talks to the stars of the game and manager Dusty Baker on Reds Live, brought to you by Kings Honda in the Kings Auto Mall. Visit KingsHondaUSA.com.
All righty, here we go. The young left-hander, Johnny Venters. I mean, the numbers, Chris, they do not lie. 50 innings, 51 strikeouts. He has walked 23, has not given up a home run. League batting 170 against him. Many wonder, being used at this kind of rate, if this southpaw can hold up. 45 games now he's been brought into. He'll face Joey Votto to begin the inning. High fly ball into left center field. And this game is tied. Joey Votto. How about Joey Votto? He says, Johnny who?
Johnny meets Joey.
How clutch has this guy been? I mean, it's just indescribable the kind of year Joey Votto is having. The numbers are there. Anybody can look up the numbers. But to see when they have come,
he doesn't wait long to see anything he's got in his repertoire except that first pitch fastball. A high fly ball that barely makes it into there, but it's all right. First or second row, it doesn't matter. It's an all-tied ball game now.
And now Roland shoots one into left center field. Cabrera trying to cut it off. He can't do it. It'll go to the wall, and Roland in with a double, and the Reds have a go-ahead run at second with nobody out.
And not exactly the way Bobby Cox had this innings written up. The ball goes into the gap, and you see Melky Cabrera kind of pinched around towards right center field. Never really took a good angle at that ball, and the ball goes all the way to the screen that divides the bullpen out there. So Rolen now with a double with nobody out. Johnny Gomes got to get him over.
Well, you know they're not going to ask Gomes to bunt.
You do?
I think it's a pretty safe bet. But he's going to get the job done, or will he? Nope, this isn't going to do it. Rolen can't take that. He's taking a chance. Here comes the throw, and he is in there. How about Scotty Rolen? Is that the definition, the quintessential style of Reds baseball this year? Wow. Did you think he was going?
I did not think he was going. This is a short and shallow fly ball to right field. Jason Hayward's got an arm. And he comes in there. He's got momentum going to third. He comes up throwing. If this ball is anywhere near the bag, Scott Rolen is out by 10 feet. But the ball is down the line. Chipper Jones has to take 2 steps before he gets back to the bag to apply the tag. And Scott Rolen slides head first and gets it in there.
All right, now Jay Bruce. And Bruce has really struggled against the left-handers. He has a go-ahead run at third and a 4-4 tie. One out here in the bottom of the 8th. He's down a strike. Infield in for the Braves. Well, he figures to see a whole host of those.
You're not kidding about that. Now, we saw a squeeze play in Milwaukee. Would you see one here? Maybe not likely with a lefty at the plate, but you never know.
Two on Jay Bruce. In the dirt, a nice play there by McCann. Infield in, go ahead run at third, 2-2 with one out. Two away in the inning.
Now, he's awfully tough on left-handers. Venters is, and you can see why. That is a nasty slider. Combine that with a mid-90s fastball, and explains why he is having such a tremendous year.
Well, now the Reds need a 2-out hit by Drew Stubbs. The middle infield backs up. Jones still even with a back at third, just in case Stubbs thought about laying one down. Well, we've never seen him do it. We don't know if he can do it. We know he's been trying to do it. But boy, if he could push a bunt to the right side, there's no chance they'd throw him out.
With his speed, there is no chance, and you'd knock in the go-ahead run.
And this is not going to do it either. Wow. The strikeout of Bruce, an enormous out. Votto does tag on the home run to begin the inning. strike to the plate. But Martin Prado, look at that slide. He's almost parallel to the first base line.
You know, it's almost like he's got a sliding glove on his left hand that served him perfectly right there. I keep playing the ball game so far.
All right, Brian McCann will lead things off against the left-hander Arthur Rhodes. Top of the ninth inning, we're tied at 4. You have right-handed batter Gloss next, and then Eric Hinsky, another lefty, due up after that. Strike called on the outside corner. McCann 1 of 3, but the one a big one. Was a game-tying 2-run home run to left center field off Johnny Cueto in the 5th. Arthur going way off the plate with a fastball there. 2-2. Well, the Reds have their closer, Francisco Cordero, getting loose in the bullpen. Told you have a right-handed batter in Gloss next. I mean, let's face it, for Arthur Rhodes anyway. I mean, he has dominated right-handed hitters and left-handed hitters. The question you get into is how good are the other guys against righties as opposed to lefties. Gloss in the on-deck circle batting .250 against lefties and .250 against righties. Foul ball. Well, you had him right there, Chris. After the game-tying home run, you get the double, the great aggressive base running by Roland. And you thought they're going to do it again. And they still might do it.
Yeah, they still might.
But it was right there for the taking.
90 feet away.
Breaking ball takes care of McCann. And now Dusty Baker will come out of the dugout. And I would assume we'll see a double switch involving Chris Heisey here somewhere. Probably for Stubbs. Yep, Heisey now comes trotting out of the dugout.
Actually, he's coming in for Jay Bruce.
Boy, now, here you have the situation a moment ago where Jay Bruce was allowed to bat against the left-hander Venters. And, of course, Venters struck him out. And the very next half inning, and, of course, Dusty probably figuring it'll either be Venters or Billy Wagner in the bottom of the ninth. So now he'll bring Heisey in to replace Bruce. Cordero, meanwhile, will come on for the Reds in a 4-4 game. He'll replace Jay Bruce in the outfield. With one out, nobody on, 4-4 game in the top of the ninth inning, and Francisco Cordero will come on to face Troy Gloss.
Pitcher number 5, and he has faced Troy Gloss more than anybody else on this Atlanta Braves team. 17 at-bats overall and 4 hits.
It'll take care of him on one pitch. Cabrera easily throws out the slow-footed Gloss.
Well, Gloss has been an easy out every time up. He's been playing pepper with Cabrera. That's the 3rd time he's grounded out the shortstop.
And 0 for 5 overall. You know, to go back and look at the last half inning, and certainly Dusty Baker has all those numbers in front of him about, you know, should he have pinch hit Heisey for Bruce. It should be noted, Chris Heisey's batting average against left-handed pitching this year, he's batting 163. Now, not a lot of at-bats, 43 of them, but only 7 hits for Heisey in the 43 at-bats so far against left-handed pitching. 2 down, nobody on. Brooks Conrad, who has done just extraordinary damage this year off the bench for the Atlanta Braves. He hit that game-winning grand slam in the 7-run ninth inning off this man right here, Francisco Cordero. He has 3 pinch hit home runs and 10 pinch hit RBIs. Not only did he have a pinch hit grand slam against the Reds, he had a pinch hit grand slam on this road trip 6 days ago. Here's a run to beat Cordero on the Reds in that 7-run night. He said he enjoyed the one that he had less than a week ago in Florida that broke a 5-5 tie in the 8th inning. That was the 8th. It wasn't a game-ending home run. The Braves were on the road. But he said in that home run against Florida, he knew he hit it and that it was going to be a home run. Clearly, when that ball left the bat against the Reds, he didn't think that was going out of the ballpark.
In fact, he thought it was an out, and he was on his way back to the dugout.
Yep. 3-2 now to Conrad. He's batting for Henske. Oh, no, I beg your pardon, for the pitcher. They've already made a change in left field with Diaz. Did he do it again? Into right field. Bruce at the wall. And he caught it! What a play by Chris Heisey, who just replaced Jay Bruce in right. And Heisey climbs the wall to take away the go-ahead home run. Wow, what a play by Heisey. What an unbelievable play made by Chris Heisey. 2 batters after replacing Jay Bruce in right.
That was very much like the ball that went out of the ballpark for Brooks Conrad down in Atlanta. Ball just eluded the leaping grasp of Lance Nixon, that one, but this time Heisey goes up, brings it back. When you talk about a crowd of 40,000 plus here at Great American Ballpark, I don't think anybody is left to go home. Scheduled to hit second in the inning. Will he get a round of applause or what?
Oh, man. Jesse Chavez, meanwhile, comes on for the Braves out of their bullpen. And Ramon Hernandez to lead off the bottom of the ninth. Ball 1 away. Heisey next, and then Brandon Phillips. Chavez just picked up his 2nd loss of the season last Sunday in Florida, after getting his 2nd win the night before. After the play made to take away one, listen to this crowd. He has 6 home runs this season, this Heisey, 4 of them off the bench. Into left center field, it'll fall in a hit. So now he represents a winning run here in the last of the 9th inning.
And he doesn't wait long. He's ready to swing the bat like he was ready to come up with a great defensive play. A belt-high fastball laced in the left center field. Sure if the Braves are calling all those throwovers from the bench tonight, but boy, oh boy, they're not afraid to fire it over there just to let the runners know that we know you're out there. Heisey's got base stealing speed. And that's not a very good move by Jesse Chavez, if that is his A move.
Phillips tonight, 1 of 4, singled and scored back in the 3rd inning. 40,273 standing room only tonight. And the Reds trying to do what they have done so frequently this year. Come back and win late. Prado feeds Ross. Heisey advancing to second base, 2 outs. Well, for Orlando Cabrera, a chance now to win this game with a base hit in the bottom of the 9th inning. This kind of baseball you expect when division leaders collide.
Well, both of these ball clubs have played so many tight ball games, not just one-run games, but 1, 2, and even 3-run games.
Cabrera, Heisey the winning one at second. Up and away, 2 balls and no strikes.
So you saw that graphic of last win teams in the National League. The Braves are one up on the Reds with 16 of them, or last at bat wins. One of those 2 teams are going to add to their docket tonight.
Strike right there. Cabrera thought that pitch was high.
Halfway between the belt buckle and the shoulders. Defines the top of the strike zone.
2-1 on Cabrera. Again, the high strike is called. Boy, Bob Davidson's had a tough night tonight.
Of course, the only thing you can see from the dugout is north and south, and he's getting barked at a little bit.
Of course, Cabrera, we've talked about it frequently. He's a good high ball hitter.
He likes it up there.
Struck him out. And boy, Cabrera's hot. So we go to the 10th. Jack Link's beat Jerky. Feed your wild side. It's been a wild one in game 1 of this 3-game series between the American National League's Eastern Division leading Atlanta Braves and the National League's Central Division leading Cincinnati Reds. A 4-4 game. In extra innings, see the numbers. Atlanta 1 under, the Reds 1 over. Omar Infante to lead off against Francisco Cordero, who came on to retire. The final 2 batters in the Atlanta 9th inning. Fortunate that Chris Heisey climbed over the wall to bring back a would-be pinch hit home run by Brooks Conrad. Broken bat roller to Cabrera. One away. The Reds at one time were 5-1 in extra inning games this year. They have lost 5 of their last 7 in extra frames. A ball and a strike on Melky Cabrera. 1 for 3 in the game, has also been walked. Matt Diaz is due up next. Reds in the bottom of the 10th inning will have Votto, Rowland, and Gomes. And will it be against Chavez or will it be against Billy Wagner? Cordero's fallen behind 3-1 to Cabrera. Payoff pitch. And it's a 1-out walk to Cabrera. Diaz flied out to left field in the 8th inning. His only at bat since coming on as part of a double switch. Diaz in 125 at bats this year, has 5 home runs. Cabrera, meanwhile, 4 out of 5 in stolen base attempts.
He's not going to get cheated in this situation, I can tell you that. Boy, he almost left the shoes swinging at that high fastball. He's always been a pretty good fastball hitter.
Oh, and 1 on Diaz. Fastball away. In a twist of irony, at least for just one day, Willie Oswalt traded from Houston to Philadelphia, where Oswalt is knocked around in a loss tonight by the Nationals. And in a game he was supposed to have started for the Astros, Houston is 1 out away from completing a shutout against Milwaukee, leading 5-0 in the top of the 9th inning. One to Diaz. Fouled away. Reds had a chance to win it in the bottom of the 9th inning, or the bottom of the 8th inning to start with, after the game tying home run by Votto against Johnny Venters. Scott Rowland doubled. He took a gamble on a short fly ball to right and beat the throw to get to third with only 1 out. Swinging and miss. Diaz gone, 2 away in the inning. But then Venters struck out Jay Bruce with a runner at third and got Stubbs on a tapper out in front of the plate. For a strikeout for Cordero. And now it's Prado with a runner at first and 2 out. Prado, not some dink and dunk leadoff hitter who's going to drop in a single here and maybe find a gap there every now and again. Yeah, he can do both of those things, but he also can hit the ball in the seats. He's playing in one of the more pitcher-friendly ballparks in all of baseball in Atlanta. And Prado has 13 home runs.
What we've seen in this situation, Tom, a lot of closers do this. They'll just pitch away, 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 and make a hitter hit the ball the other way if they're going to take them deep.
Cabrera goes on a pitch. It's a called strike and no chance for Hernandez to try and throw out Cabrera, who gets his 5th steal in 6 tries. And now to go ahead run in scoring position with 2 outs here in the Atlanta 10th. Cordero desperately trying to get this one final out against one of the best hitters in the league. Cabrera drew the 1-out walk, steals second with 2 away. And it's a go-ahead run here in the 10th inning. Prado, as he has done seemingly all night long. It's hard to believe watching this guy's at bats tonight. He has 1 hit and 5 tries. Every time up. 2-2, 3-2, foul ball after foul ball.
The only bad at bat he had was against Nick Massett.
Hayward next, and the Reds are out of left-handers in their bullpen. Three and 2 on Prado. And another fastball. That one at 97 miles per hour is fouled off.
Yeah, nothing wrong with the speed of Cordero's fastballs. You tell you that. Here's take a look at the Fox tracks. And is he pitching them away? Absolutely yes.
Ninth pitch of this at bat. Second walk of the inning given up by Cordero.
No real harm done right there, except the fact that now he's got to face a left-hander, a guy with already a couple of doubles on the night.
But the one thing that has certainly hurt Cordero when he's been hurt this year, and it hasn't been frequent, but when he's been hurt, it's been primarily because of his control.
Absolutely right.
And the walk to Cabrera is the one that looms large in this inning. Number 8 hole hitter in the Atlanta lineup. He walked in with 1 out.
This guy looking for a piece of cheese on the first pitch.
A pair of doubles and 5 at bats tonight. He got an off-speed pitch and didn't even get to the plate. Next pitch will be the 30th pitch of the game for Cordero. Not sure Hayward thought that was a strike. Well, the Reds have worked this guy away, away, away all night long. And both of his doubles have gone down to left field line. Cordero coming in. And where did that miss? Man.
Boy, rare body language by Ramon Hernandez. Watch him turn and look at the home plate umpire Bob Davidson after this. Was it high? But, you know, Hernandez also tried to frame that baby down a little bit. Well, he's missed with 2 breaking balls he's thrown. The only strike in this at bat that he has thrown to Jason Hayward is a fastball. So Hayward's got to be looking dead red.
I would imagine Dusty Baker has to be thinking about what does he do if Hayward walks. I mean, Cordero rarely ever pitches in a game where he has this many pitches. And clearly he's having a hard time throwing strikes. 3-2. Jordan Smith is ready in the bullpen. Cordero will once again try and get the final out of this 10th inning.
And a 3-2 slider.
Sinking liner, and that's a base hit. 1 run scores. Here comes a throw to the plate. A 2-run single by Hayward. And Atlanta leads 6-4 in the 10th inning. Just too many balls out of the strike zone again for Cordero.
Both of the bases on balls have come around to score.
And Prado is hurt.
Prado made another headfirst slide into home. The trail runner on the base hit. Jeff Porter, the head trainer of the Atlanta Braves, is looking at him right now. Did he jam his right hand is the question mark. He's got a brace on his left hand. That's what he comes around and slapped the plate with when he scored back in the 3rd inning. But in that tumbling slide that he made to the plate, he may have jammed or twisted or worse, something on that right hand. See, we can look at it. Nice attempt by Nix at it right or in left, and he just tumbled right over the top of his right arm as he came rolling through. Excuse me, that is Johnny Gomes.
Well, now another double switch will be made. Orlando Cabrera will be lifted from the game. Paul Janisch will take over at shortstop. And a very disappointing outing by Cordero. He came on to retire the final 2 batters in the 9th inning. Fortunate he did not give up the home run on the great catch by Heisen. And then here in the 10th. Now takes over.
Well, Jordan Smith has been pretty good. But going back to Cordero, Tom, it's got to be very frustrating for Dusty Baker to have a closer that has been so inconsistent this year. seemingly very difficult for Cordero to get through an inning without issuing a base on balls. And tonight, the 2 that he did issue turned around to burn him. Other than that, this bullpen has been perfect tonight, or nearly perfect. Well, the Reds have one big out to get in this inning.
So Hayward at second, a 3-hit night for Hayward. He's knocked in 2 runs. And here's Chipper Jones. Strike 1. That's the amazing part about the youngsters on Drusick and Smith. Clearly, they will not be vaulted into a closer's role on this particular team. And Cordero has been exceptionally good his first 2 years as a Red, especially throwing strikes. But he is now throwing strikes with near the frequency that we've seen from these 2 rookies.
Puts Dusty Baker in a tough spot.
Nicely done by Votto. And the feet of the bag will end the inning. All right. They get a couple. Votto due to lead it off, followed by Rowan and Gomes. We'll see if the Reds can come back yet again. To a pair of walks and then a 2-out, 2-run single by Jason Hayward in the top of the 10th inning to take a 6-4 lead. Alex Gonzalez, a former Red, takes over at shortstop. Has been under the weather the last couple of days, but he has to go in there. They don't have a choice. Prado was clearly hurt on that slide at the plate a moment ago. So Prado will lead as Infante moves from short over to second base. And now on the pitch, one of the game's all-time great closers, Billy Wagner. His first 24 save chances of the year, he only blew 3 saves. He's blown 2 in the last week. Will tonight be another? A tall order indeed to try and beat this guy.
Especially giving him a 2-run lead.
Joey Votto, that dramatic game-tying home run of Johnny Venters leading off the bottom of the 8th inning, and it looked like the Reds were going to do it again. Roland followed with a double, went to third on a fly ball, but the Reds could not get him in. One and 2 to Votto. Saves for Billy Wagner in his career. against the Cincinnati Reds. Of course, all those years spent playing inside the National League Central, pitching for the Houston Astros. Votto went around, and he's out of there on strikes. Chavez, a pitcher of record for Atlanta. Cordero for the Reds. There's Roland, 2 out of 3 in the game, and lays down a bunt. How about this guy? It rolls foul. You talk about a team guy, man.
Well, you can't score 2 unless you get at least a runner on base.
No doubt.
Scott Rowland knows that. And he does the right thing here. I mean, at least in his fundamentals of bunting, he lays the bunt down first and then runs. And nearly a perfect one. Once that ball comes off the grass, though, the infield crowd a little bit towards the foul territory. And the Braves' only play was to let it go. Chipper Jones not buying in that he may do it again.
No.
He's staying back where he was.
Oh, and 2 to Roland.
I'll tell you, it's amazing. Billy Wagner, as long as he has been around, still throwing mid to high 90s. I mean, he was routinely throwing 100 miles an hour for a while there in his days as a Houston Astro.
Shoots one into left center field. It'll go to the wall. Another hit for Scott Rowland. So now with that base hit, his 3rd of the night, Johnny Gomes will bring the tying run to the plate.
Billy Wagner throws it at 95 and Scott Rowland swings it at 96. Three hits on the night, 2 doubles.
And a walk. An 0 for 4 night, meanwhile, for Johnny Gomes. He likes a fastball and figures to get him from Wagner and to sit back. And he gets plunked on the leg. So now the tying run is at first base. And the go-ahead run comes to the plate in the form of Miguel Cairo.
Now Johnny Gomes looking for a fastball, didn't get one. That's a hard breaking ball right there off his shin. He's the important run, the one that would tie it up.
Cairo overall 304 batter, 3 home runs, 19 batted in. 4 of 23 as a pinch hitter with 5 RBIs, but of course a lot of those numbers were accumulated early in the year when he never played. And almost all of his appearances were as a pinch hitter.
And he's faced Billy Wagner a fair number of times in his career. They face each other even though they've been in different leagues for a lot of their careers. He is 3 for 11 with a run batted in.
Gomes going to get a good lead over there. Gloss plays behind him at first base. Strike 1. To Miguel Cairo. And now 0-2. Cairo, so many big hits over the course of this year. He's had long stretches of playing time for Votto at first, Most recently rolling at third. And a number of starts in between. Started two, they appeal, and no. Says Angel Campos down at first base. Rolling the runner at second. Gomes is a tying run at first with one out in the bottom of the 10th. In the air, left center field. And drifting back is Cabrera. He'll run it down. And now the Reds are down to their final out of the night. Hit it hard, but to the deepest part of the ballpark.
Well, it sounded better than it turned out coming off the bat. It sounded like a very well-struck baseball. If Melky Cabrera goes into the environs of left center field and is able to get it down just short of the warning track.
We're now meeting at the mound between Brian McCann and Billy Wagner before they face Drew Stubbs. It's been a hitless night for Stubbs. He struck out in the second inning, fly to right in the fourth, grounded to short in the sixth inning, and with a go-ahead run at third and 2 outs in the eighth inning, he rolled one out in front of the plate. McCann threw him out. Nobody will remember 0 for 4 if you strike gold on the 1 for 5. Stubbs a winning run to the plate. Tying run is Johnny Gomes at first with 2 outs. You know, so frequently you talk about Brian McCann and his offense, and defensively he'll never be compared to Yadier Molina, but then again, who is? But he has made some huge plays behind the plate tonight, and there's another one right there. That ball gets away, and all of a sudden that tying run goes to second base. Stubbs may not see a fastball in this at bat.
How about if he continues to swing like that? Put yourself in Drew Stubbs' position for a moment, though. Growing up in Texas, went to the University of Texas, watched Billy Wagner as he toiled for the Houston Astros for 11 years. And now he's in the batter's box against them.
Tough one to take right there. It's 2-2. Does Wagner throw him another slider? 2-2.
If he does let loose of a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, it's going to look like 195 after all these breaking balls.
2-2 pitch. And it bounces up there. He threw him another breaking ball. All right, what about now, Chris? You got 3-2. If you walk this guy, you put the winning run on base and move the tying run into scoring position.
Well, he's kept the breaking ball on him in the entire at bat. I can't see them going to anything else. But he did. Gas. And a much better swing Drew Stubbs has on that one than he had on any of the breaking balls that he saw.
All right, you throw a fastball, the first 3-2 count. Will you double up? Breaking ball, and that's the old ball again. Atlanta wins it, final count of 6-4. So the Braves will pick up a game on Philadelphia in the National League East. We'll have to wait and see what happens as the Cardinals had a lengthy rain delay. Their game just got underway. They're only in the second inning. Scoreless against the Pirates.